So you want to get into cybersecurity without knowing much Linux? Well, let's check out Splunk. What's up, guys? It's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to show you guys how to set up a Splunk Lab environment. Now, this is beneficial for people that don't want to, learn much Linux, but they want to get into the cybersecurity field. Well, this is one of those options. And I did a video a while back showing people that they did have some free training out there for people that want to learn Splunk. I think it was only available to veterans at the moment, but there is some training out there, plenty of other resources out there if you're not a veteran to get some training on the Splunk platform. But essentially, Splunk is a platform that allows an organization to bring in pretty much all the logs from all the applications and services that they have on their network into one system, so you can monitor things that are going on. So let's say a website has went down. It's an easy way to look at this one system, and you can kind of figure out if the server is either being attacked or something else is wrong, because all those logs are brought into one location. And I'm hearing a lot, or I'm seeing a lot of jobs that Splunk is being used for a SOC analyst position. So that's essentially entry-level position in IT, SOC analyst. And I've interviewed a couple people on my channel that are SOC analysts or were SOC analysts, and they talk about Splunk as one of the tools that they used or whatever while being a SOC analyst. So let's go on and hop over to Splunk's website so I can show you a little bit about it. We can get the download files and then get this thing installed. And I want to show you guys how to get it installed on Linux. It's super simple. Now, I said in the beginning, without knowing much Linux, but you need to know a little bit of Linux in order to get it installed, at least the way I'm going to show you. But you can get Splunk installed on Windows. I'm sure you will have to set up a Windows server. And Windows Server, they do allow, or Microsoft, they do allow you to download trial versions of servers, and you can install whatever you want on it, for those 60 to 90 days or whatever the trial period is for Windows Server. But with Linux, you ain't got to worry about that. The only trial you have to worry about is for Splunk, because Splunk Enterprise, they give you a trial of the actual application, but you can keep reinstalling it, accepting the EULA, just to have in your test environment to play around with and understand the system. And this is beneficial, like I said, when you're doing training. This will allow you to have your own platform at your house that you can play around with it and potentially break it, and then reset it if you want to, and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? You're right back up and running. Play around with it, mess up the data, do whatever you want with it, at least during that trial period. And I think it's only a certain amount of data that you can put into it as well, but you'll have to read the documentation on it. But let's hop over to Splunk's website. I know I'm rambling a little too much, but let's hop over there, show you guys how to download it and everything, as well as some information about it that's on the site. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a quick shout out to CIQ, the official partner of Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux is a Linux distribution that is intended to be a downstream complete binary compatible release using the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system source code. The project is led by Gregory Kurtzer, who was the founder of the CentOS project. So check out Rocky Linux at ciq.co. Okay, cool. So we are at splunk.com, and of course I always have the links down in the description of the video. As you can see, it says the Unified Security and Observation or Observability platform. So you can visualize all, the applications that are running within an organization, and that's a kind of a snapshot of kind of what you can all do, and I'll show you guys that when we actually get it installed. But here's a breakdown of kind of what it does, how we help you turn data into doing essentially streaming, machine learning, scalable indexes, search and visualization. That's one of the tools that's very important there, especially cybersecurity roles or whatever. as well as the collaboration, because you can also set up Splunk in the cloud, you know, and have like somewhat of a hybrid network, you know, set up where it connects to all your stuff from the cloud, or all these services send the data up to the cloud, you know what I'm saying, and you can use their cloud feature as well. Now let's hop over and show you guys the solutions right fast. Well, actually the products, I'm sorry, and the platform. I'm not gonna go through the pricing because, like I said, we're planning on setting this thing up as a lab environment. And here we go. So platforms, there we go. So it's two different platforms that I found: Splunk Cloud and then Splunk Enterprise, which is the one you can put on-prem, so private cloud or on your premise. So you can set up your own cloud server and then install Splunk Enterprise on there. And this is some examples of, you know, kind of what it looks like. The install that I'm gonna do is not gonna look as complex like this. I'm gonna just show you guys how to get it installed, so it's not gonna have any data in it, but you can obviously do it at that point. But all you gotta do is hit Splunk Enterprise to get to it, to install. And like I said, they have a free trial, and if you click on free trial, in order to download it, you have to create an account. So just wanted to walk you guys through that. But you create your account, basically ask for a business email address, because it's assuming that you're a business, but you can put your personal email there, you know, password, then first last name, you know, a little bit of information. Now one thing about it, all this information is required, so you can't just put anything there. I mean, you can make up stuff. I'm not condoning that. Don't make up stuff. Just go down and put your information in. It's all good. All they're gonna do is send you some marketing material or something, trying to get you to purchase this. But if you're not a business, I mean, you're just using it just to use it at the house or something, to play around with it, then, you know, it's just gonna be someone else with your email. Give them a throwaway email, you know what I'm saying? So they'll send all their spam email to that, you know what I'm saying? But once you create your account, log into it, and I'll be back because I don't want to show you guys my login information. Okay, so I'm logged in, and this is where they give you the options to download it for whatever platform you're going to install it on. And as you can see, you can index 500 megabytes a day. So that's some of the information that's, you know, associated with the trial. Now it says sign up and download now. After 60 days, you can convert to a free license or purchase a Splunk Enterprise license to continue using the expanded functionality designed for enterprise scale deployment. So you don't have to reinstall it. Once you get it installed, you can expand it to, or change it to, the perpetual free license, or purchase it, you know what I'm saying, which is probably very expensive to purchase this product, you know what I'm saying, which is why they offer it to organizations. So but anyway, you can install it on Windows. There's an MSI file. As you can see, the application is not too big, and it essentially runs on a web server, and you know, the data is gathered in the back end. Now let's go to Linux, and this is what you need to do. They do have a dev package, so you can install it on a desktop environment. They have the TorGZ file, and they have the RPM file as well, so you can install it on those Linux distributions that use those package types. And one cool thing about it, you can also install it on Mac OS. So they do have a TorGZ, was that TorGZ and that TMG file, so you can download it that way. Now we're going to install it on Linux, and as you can see, all you have is that dev package. But let's say I want to show you guys how to get the command, the wget command, so you can get the link to it. So you can hit download now. What I'm gonna do is cancel it, and I could have just copied that link, but let's cancel it right fast because I don't want to download that dev package to my computer. But here's the command line wget command, so you don't even have to look it up or figure out how to type the command, the wget command. You can type it yourself, or you can copy it and then paste it into your terminal on your server. Now let's switch over to my server right fast so we can get this thing installed. So I basically copied that command, and let's go on and get it going. All right, cool. So I'm logged into a Ubuntu 22.04 server. This is a virtual machine that I set up on my network. And so all we have to do is paste that wget command in there. As you can see, that's one reason I'm connected via SSH, so you can paste within my virtual machine. It's kind of hard to paste. I think it's some changes I gotta make, but I'll fix that later. You know what I'm saying? I just want to show you guys, and plus I like SSHing into servers anyway. But paste that wget command, press enter, and that will download Splunk to your system. And there we go, it's done. So it's downloaded to your system. That's one of the commands you have to run, and then I think it's like 2 more commands. So like I said, I was trying to show people how to set this up, or set up something where they don't have to use much Linux. But like I said, this is just 3 commands, and I'll also have my tutorial site set up with these 3 commands that you can use to install Splunk and get it set up on your system, on your Ubuntu server. And so now that we have it downloaded, let's go back to the website right fast. I want to show you guys where the documentation is, so you can figure out if you need questions, or if you have questions about installing it on Linux. You can go to the Splunk search tutorial right here. Just click right here. This will take you to their documentation, and we could have just went there, but documentation, whatever. All you have to do is go down to, or go back up to introduction, getting started, and hit install Splunk Enterprise. Just click on that, and this will walk you guys through how to actually get it installed. And if we click up here at the top where it says Linux installation instructions, they'll take you down to that part of the page. And really what we're looking for is the dev package, and so this is the command. So that's what we're going to type in our terminal. So let's switch back over to the terminal right fast and get it installed. And so that command was the package, so dpkg and then -i for install. And then all we have to do is find that package is in this location, because we downloaded it right into that location right there. So Splunk, and then it may be different for you if you're looking at this video in the future in a newer version. You download a different version, so it may not look 100% the same, but it should be a dev package, and this will allow you to install it on your system. So all we gotta do is press enter, and it may not work because of permissions. Let's go on and cancel that, but let's run this using sudo. So let's put sudo in there, boom, dpackage, type in our sudo password, boom, and there we go. That'll install Splunk on the system. And then once we get that done, we can go on and configure it and get it started, and then we can start playing around with the system. All right, cool. So it's 100% complete. We have installed Splunk on Ubuntu 22.04. Very simple. Now there is a step to accept the licensing as well as start Splunk, and I'll show you guys how to do that right fast. But all we have to do is type sudo. Now the application is stored in the opt directory, so opt Splunk bin and then Splunk, and then what we want to do is enable and then boot start, and this is with a tab in the middle, or a tab in the middle. So boot start, and press enter, and that will go through the licensing agreement. So we can go down to the bottom of this, and basically what it's going to ask you at the bottom, yes if you agree, or no if you don't. So let's press Y, press Y again, and now it's going to ask you for the administrative username. Now this is an important step. Make sure you remember what this is, but admin is what I'm gonna use. You can use whatever you want. I'm gonna use the admin, and then now it's gonna ask you for a password, and it has to be 8 total printable ASCII characters. So just create a kind of complex password, and put it on the server. And it's gonna ask you twice to confirm, just like any other application. Boom. So we got a password, and it'll go through and create the site for you, or create everything, or configure it for you, so you can actually go to the actual site. Now that we have it created, we don't want to go to it yet. We need to open up the firewall. in order to connect to it. Well, not really open it up, it's already open, because on Ubuntu Server, typically when you install it by default, the firewall is turned off. But you want the firewall turned on, especially if you have this in on a cloud server, you know, on the internet somewhere. You don't want people, you know, trying to bang on your server through ports. Obviously, if you don't have the applications on there, you know, they can't really do anything, but still, you want to go down and turn on the firewall. That's one of the important steps in securing your system. So the first thing, let's go down and do this, because most likely you use the SSH to connect to the server. So you want to open up that port. So let me show you guys the commands and I'll kind of explain it. So sudo UFW, which is uncomplicated firewall, and what we want to do is allow all SSH connections. So open SSH, and that'll allow port 22, which is SSH, to connect to the server. And that's very important if you're connected to the server in the cloud, you know, via SSH. If you don't open up this port, you can lose connection via SSH, obviously, you know, because the port will be closed. But you can connect to it via, you know, the list connection that they have up there on on a cloud provider or whatever, and you can open up this port at that point. But you'll lose connection when you enable the firewall if you don't open up your open SSH port, which is port 22. So you want to make sure you open that up first. Now the default port for Splunk, the dashboard, is 8000, so you want to open up that port as well. So sudo UFW allow, and all we have to do is type that port number, so 8000, press enter. That'll open up the port 8000 on the system. And right now, let me show you guys something right fast, but I'm gonna run sudo UFW status, and this will show you that the firewall is inactive. And like I said, Ubuntu comes with it inactive. So now we have to enable it. Let's go on and enable it. We can type sudo UFW enable, and this will turn on our firewall. And it'll also make it so every time the system reboots, then UFW is turned on, or the firewall is enabled. So right here is a warning, because we're connected via SSH. It'll kill your connection. So this is that warning, or this is why it's important to open up your open SSH connection. They give you a warning right here, basically says that it will disrupt your existing SSH connection. But since we open up this port, we won't get disconnected. So we can type Y, press enter, and the firewall is active and enabled on system startup. So we're good to go. And so now let's go on and log in to our new Splunk server. And before we do that, I need to find out what the IP address is, because if you don't know what the IP address is, you don't know what address to go to. So mine is 192.168.10.157, and what I did was type IPA. I did a video a while back on the IP command that kind of shows you, you know, some details on how to use the IP command, which is very important. It's kind of like the newer version of ifconfig, and also the same thing as ipconfig on Windows. So just so you guys know. So that's the IP address we need to go to get to our server. And like I said, we have to use port 8000. So switch over to my browser, and we can go to that IP address. And sorry guys, you can't see it, but I'm basically typing in that IP address, and then I'm also putting the port on the end. But that's all you got to do is type that in and press enter, and it should go to this site. I wonder why it's not doing it, but let's see. And this is a mistake I made during the live stream, because I actually did this during the live stream. I actually didn't start the Splunk server, so we actually need to start it right fast. So let's switch back over to the terminal. Like I said, I kept saying 3 commands earlier, and I totally forgot about that command because I was thinking about the firewall. But let's go on and start it right fast. That other command doesn't start it, and you actually have to start the server once you do that configuration. Okay, so what we got to type in is sudo, and then we got to go back to the op directory, Splunk, and then bin, and then Splunk, and then basically all we have to do is type start, and that will start Splunk for us. So boom, you'll see it go through. It'll go through the whole process of starting it, and it'll say that the server is available on this port And so we can go back to our browser and we can get logged into it. And as you can see, it kind of gives you the IP address. That's the, the return address or the home address for the server, but this is the actual server name, Ubuntu Server 22. So that's why I said you need to find out what that IP address is, because that's not gonna work, you know what I'm saying, unless you have like naming on your local network. Okay, so let's switch back over to the browser, and I'm gonna just refresh the page. And there we go. So this is Splunk Enterprise. So it says first time signing in. Boom. If you're installing this instance, use a username password created during the installation. That's why I said it was important to make a note of that username password. And what I named mine was admin, and then type in my semi-strong password and hit sign in. And let's close that. But boom, so there we go. So we are logged into our Splunk server, and I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. You guys can check it out for yourself. If you're going through the training, then you're gonna learn how to use this, you know what I'm saying? But it's important for people to, if you want to get into the cybersecurity field and you want to, pursue Splunk as one of those entryways to get into the cybersecurity field, then that training will help you understand everything you need to do in here. I'm not no expert at it, and I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. I want you guys to lean on the training that's available for you out there to learn Splunk. But that's essentially how you set it up, so you can have your own personal lab at the house, so you can practice using Splunk and becoming familiar with it at your leisure. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed it, as well as if you have any questions. Go on and leave those comments down in the comments below. And like I said, in the next couple of days, you'll see the website update with a new article that'll break down how to actually get this installed on Linux. It's not that difficult. As you can see, it's only a little bit of Linux understanding that you have to do in order to get Splunk installed, and then you can start your little training at the house, you know what I'm saying, using this server. So please like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and of course, keep it techie.